My name is Dominic Prendergast. I'm the General Manager of the ParkInn by Radisson. Radisson is an international brand of hotels through Middle East, Africa, Europe, and worldwide. In Africa alone, we have 40 hotels and we're still growing. The ParkInn brand is we call upper mid-scale market brand, which is normally referred to as a 4-star brand. And we are very focused in Africa at the moment and planning to grow our brand as we move through the different African countries.
Growth is a huge part of your brand. Let's just start from the beginning. Here, where we are specifically.
Yes.
ParkInn, Nairobi.
Yep.
How did this property come to life? Can you share the origin
Sure.
of this
Property itself,
yeah.
yeah. This property was acquired by our owners. The owner company decided that they are an investment property development company. They decided that they would like to invest in a hotel, and back in 2009 bought this land. It was primarily then designed and developed and eventually opened in 2017.
Wow.
The property has 140 bedrooms, and it's been trading at very good occupancies because of its location in the Westlands area of Nairobi,
Yeah.
which is quite a favorite destination to most people coming into Nairobi. We are very happy with what we have done in the past, and we're looking forward to the future here.
Yeah.
And we believe that the growth here is definitely something that is sustainable for the entire of Nairobi at the moment.
Yeah. What do you think are some of the most defining milestones that you have experienced ever since opening?
Well, we think one of the defining milestones has got to be the COVID period, where things were really dropped. And I think, though, we found that we learned to work with more, with less. We managed to still grow the business, but we had to do it differently. We are so pleased, since that era, that we've seen the growth come back. We do know that Nairobi's been a key development area, and we've seen some huge growth in Nairobi since 2024. In fact, a 53% growth in hotels.
Wow.
In Nairobi. So it's absolutely huge. As we all know, there's lots of hotels in this area that have gone up. I'm proud to say that we have still maintained our share of the business, and I think our brand is very strong. It goes without saying that because we're with the Radisson brand, we set ourselves very high standards in both accommodation and food offerings in the hotel. So people are assured that when they spend their money, they get value for their money.
Yeah.
And I think we're well priced for the market that we aim at.
What is your unique brand identity that separates you from everyone else?
Well, our unique selling point is mainly, I believe, the people.
Yeah.
The people really make the difference in the hotel. There's a lot of choice here, but at the end of the day, we're a hospitality institute, not just a business. So people need to see that coming through in the service and the values that we offer. We have an ethos of service in the hotel, which is defined by our brand saying called "Yes, I Can."
Yeah.
So nothing is a no. Everything we try to do is a yes within reason, and we believe we can deliver that. But coming back to the people, we're very blessed at this hotel to have a very service-orientated team. We invest a lot of money into training and ensuring that they're ready to serve our customers, and I believe that has been the key unique selling point for the hotel. Besides its location, its facilities, I believe that the heartbeat of the hotel is the people itself.
You'll describe your services as tailored towards a specific client or a specific client type or demographic, or it's just general?
Well, look, you have to be adaptive and fluid in our business. We have different types of clients from different types of countries, and they have different needs and wants, so we need to be adaptive to them. So generally, yes, we have a high level of service and standards. Our rooms are absolutely phenomenal. Our food is fantastic and our service is good. But then there are people that probably want something extra.
Yeah,
they have a choice of many hotels, and to get them coming back, we're able to provide the services that they need. And if they need something specially done for them, for example, a special birthday occasion or maybe a dietary issue, the chefs are available to listen to the guests, see what they need, and prepare that for them. So yeah, I think being fluid and adaptive in this market is very important, and I think that also gives us the edge.
Yeah. You wouldn't like describe your services as necessarily bespoke. You cater to a diverse group of clientele. Yeah. So my question is, from strictly a service standpoint, what kind of experience do you target every guest to take home? What kind of impression would you like them to take home when they visit ParkInn by Radisson?
Well, we want them to leave feeling, happy with their stay. We want them to think that the next time they come back that they'll return to this hotel. So it's very important that we ensure that that happens. We make sure that every moment matters. We understand that a guest's time is very valuable. They spend a lot of money to get to the hotel, and they spend money to stay at the hotel. So we certainly want them to leave feeling it was value for money and worthwhile for them to stay with us.
Yeah, interesting. And my question to you is, can you briefly describe what the move to zero is and how does it apply in your day-to-day operations?
Yeah, look, sustainability is very important. I mean, all the resources today are very scarce, so we need to be cognizant of that. And as a hotel, and even guests, they need to be aware of what we do to be sustainable. So we have a recycling program at the hotel. We also filter a lot of our water through a reverse osmosis process and ensure that not a lot of it's wasted. We can use that in gardens and other areas. We have smart rooms where we have the electronic cards that get taken out of the room, and it reduces the lighting and the air conditioning. So we measure our carbon dioxide usage, and we try and ensure that we are not emitting. I think there's levels that we're not allowed to emit, that we try and keep ourselves below that. Yes, we are all, we get audited twice a year. We have a Green Key certification, which is very important. We have a sustainable key on our website that shows that we have been audited and passed. So yeah, it's a subconscious thing that we all do at the hotel. You'll find in our rooms that we have eliminated the little plastic amenity bottles, and we've gone for more of the larger ones that can be reused, because we found that a lot of that stuff washes into the rivers and down to the sea and into our fishing industry. So I recently spent time down for the first time in 4 years down on the coast, and I went for a little dive, and I couldn't believe the amount of plastic in the water. So we need to realize that it's there, and if each of us aren't conscious of that and don't do something about it, it's just going to get worse and worse. So look, we are very focused on it. In fact, the whole Radisson worldwide is focused on it, and we will try and get to zero in 2035. There's 2 hotels already that have accomplished this, and so we move on into the future, and as we build new hotels, they must be sustainable and zero sort of emissions.
Employee training is a huge part of your sustainability practices. For the sake of our audience, would you please care to explain how the training works and how it has impacted your overall sustainability push?
Look, it's so important that you get the message out there. When we launched it, we had a lot of online sessions. You must remember, people in hotels are busy 24/7. So trying to get the team into a classroom can be a little bit difficult. So what we have is small packages of information that we get the teams to go up, learn online, learn a bit about what we're doing as a company. And in our town hall briefings, we update people on what we are doing and where we are going and what our margins are. We have town hall meetings as regularly as we can. And that's where we celebrate the staff, but also give them all the information. So the trainings are good. We as a hotel have won a couple of training rewards for the amount of training that we've done in Radisson. We've been in the top 3 for a while. So the team are keen to learn, and that is great. All you need is the right attitude from the team, and we'll do the rest. So it's great to see. And I think people, the younger generation today, are more conscious of the environment than the older generation, so-called, speak are. And it's good to see that, and I think the future is safe if that's the direction we're going.
Circling back to your operations, I would like to know how you approach things like waste management and especially food traceability.
That's actually very important, and I'm glad you raised it. Our chef will probably enlighten you more on that.
Yeah.
But food waste is a very important part of sustainability. Also, our procurement process, we vet the correct suppliers.
Yeah.
We don't just buy from anybody that's got a price out there that looks good. We actually go and vet those suppliers to ensure that they also practice sustainable practices.
Yeah. What are some of the criteria that you look for in your suppliers?
Okay, well, we look at, there's a whole audit that we do. In fact, it goes from everything from personnel management right the way down to how they operate and whether they're in a sustainable environment, what their attitude is towards that. So it's almost a 50-point sort of audit that we take, and a lot of it involves how they are interacting with their team, even the personnel, how their practices are, what are their packing solutions, are they reducing plastic, and we make sure that we vet those suppliers to ensure that they are taking steps towards a sustainable direction. It's difficult for some of them because there are costs involved, and we understand that, and we know it's something that not many are buying into, but we try and push it. The more that we push as buyers, the more that the supplier is going to want to change, so that he can actually sell his goods. So it is a long process, a lot of buying into it, we know that, and we look forward to continuing with that.
So my last question before we get to the nitty-gritties of technology, looking ahead, are there some specific long-term sustainability goals? I know you've said zero emissions by 2035.
Yeah.
Are there others that you'd like to share, or right now we're just stuck on zero emissions?
Well, we pretty much aim towards that. It's not immediate. It's not a thing you can just switch off. You know, you've got to keep pushing the agenda. I mean, let's be honest. Next year is 9 years, and we've got to make it. A lot of people saying it's almost an impossible task, but what if we don't try? You know, so we have to try. We've got to keep pushing it. So yes, it's a slower process than we'd like to see, but we have to do something. There is far too much wastage, and there is too much affecting the food supply chains at the moment. So we are involved. We are aware of it. We need to start cutting back on wasting, and that is our sort of main goal. So we look at all energy costs, we look at how we recycle, we look at the water usage. I mean, all these things are very, very important. But yeah, that's pretty much our goal. We monitor that on a monthly basis.
So the future is looking bright?
Well, we hope so. We need everyone's buy-in. We know it's been a slow uptake. Some people believe, well, we didn't really cause the carbon emission problem, why should we get involved? But I think should we step back and not get involved, it will just create a chain of reactions that's going to continue. And it's a downward spiral, really. So we have to all get involved.
One way hotels and hospitality companies stay ahead is through, like I said, integrating technology. And we found out that you guys are very, very, very proactive in terms of technology. So my question to you is, how has technologies like smart check-ins and digital guest management, how have they impacted your business in terms of both operational efficiency, turnaround, and overall the bottom line?
Yeah, look, technology is in all our lives at the moment, and guests want a more seamless sort of entry into a hotel. So what you can do with your hotel apps now is check in as you come into the hotel. You get your key card on your phone. You can use the key card to access your room. You can see your billing on the television sets. So yes, guests like that. It's less contact. That started coming about, funny enough, straight after COVID, where people were looking at areas of reducing contact. But then again, in a hotel, it's about the personal experience too. So there's not too much of that, although it's there for the convenience of the guests, you know, so that they don't have to come to a desk and stand in a queue and wait to check in if there's a busy, you know, at a peak check-in time. They can just automatically come into the hotel, check in, get the key card, and go straight to their room that's been allocated to them. So the technology does help. It speeds up the processes, and then staff can concentrate on other things that are important, like just getting guest data, likes, wants, what we need to do with them. So yeah, technology is great. I think it's going to get better and better with AI coming in. I don't think AI in hotels is going to affect service or anything. People talk about robots and things like that. I mean, that's taken it to another level. I guess I'm old school. I believe in the personalized human-to-human experience on service, because then you're interacting with the guests.
Yeah.
But there is going to be some benefits to it, particularly when we gather data from guests. We can tell what they want, what they like. We get all the information on you as you check into the hotel. We know what your dietaries are, what you prefer, what you don't prefer, what time you normally like your wake-up call or your coffee served to your room. We'll know all that, but then we need to check with you if that's what you want on a continuous basis.
So you will say the driver towards any investment or any incorporation of technology is customer satisfaction.
Absolutely.
That is key, that is central.
That's key. Look, on the other end of it, behind the hotel, a lot goes on. So there's a lot of data gathering, there's a lot of information that we use. As you know, it's a business, so we have to run it as a business, and we use a lot of that data for ourselves. But at the end of the day, it's about the guest experience, because should you get that wrong, they're not going to come, so you don't have a business. So very important to take care of the guest.
Speaking of data, it's very, very important that you brought it up. Hotels are very, very key convergence areas for data. Phone numbers, addresses, bank accounts, all of those informations, they pass through like your systems. And an emerging trend or an emerging concern with the huge amount of data is security.
Yes.
Yeah. So my question to you is, what proactive steps do you take towards enhancing data privacy and cybersecurity?
That's an absolute important question. Data protection is very, very important. We realize the amount of information that we have, and we have the correct servers and firewalls in place to ensure that we don't get breach of data. We also have an additional cover where we have a whole IT team that keeps track of that. They are remote, but they keep watch on what is coming in and going out into the hotel. We even have training lessons so that our team aren't clicking on unauthorized links. It's a very important part of it. So when people get a link, hover over it, have a look if that link's valid before you click on anything. The same on the cell phones. People send through, click on this for a free this and a free that. We teach our teams not to do that. So there's that level of protection of personnel, plus all the built-in technology that we have to protect our guests. And we continually update that. So it is an expense that the hotel has to bear, and technology. And as these guys get more and more clever, the more technology we have to build.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very important we protect that data.
It's a continuous process.
It's a continuous process. Yeah.
Circling back to technology, you've said that it has had a very, very positive impact in one, your customer experience, and the second, employee productivity. I'm very, very curious, for the sake of our readers and our audience, do you have any specific data points in terms of the cost or the profit margins, or any specific data, the real life tangible impact of these technological incorporations in your business?
You have to build that into your operational costs. Cutting that's only going to hurt you as an operation. So yes, there is a hefty amount of costs going into that, but that's built in over a year. So we'll spend a certain amount of money. It's not a return on an investment. It's an investment that you have to ensure that you've got the protection and the technology in place that your guests would require. So yes, your profit margins may be reduced, but you have to actually spend this money. Sometimes, yes, it's very expensive to set up, but once it's in play, it's a matter of just updating systems. So I wouldn't like to go into the specifics of the numbers, because they can be big, but it's there. And when you set up an operation, it's very important that you have all that in place. And it needs to also be scalable so you can grow it. And
granted, it's allowed. What is your view on Nairobi's and overall Kenya's hospitality sector, and where do you see ParkInn's place within that framework?
Well, I think Nairobi is the hub of East Africa, must be very honest. I mean, we've got the airport that serves all the regions, so Nairobi is a very important city. Yes, we have recently seen quite a lot of growth in the area, and we think, as I said previously, it's quite sustainable and probably necessary. It's, as I said, it's a huge market, but it does go in waves. It does go up and down, and we're quite sure that in the next few years it's going to keep growing. We believe there'll be a huge influx of tourism coming into Nairobi, but also a huge corporate sectors also coming in. There's a lot of investments opening up in and around Nairobi and other outer-lying areas. Such as areas like Nakuru, even out in Eldoret, there's a lot going on. And they do come into Nairobi first. They come into the city hub. So Nairobi is key, absolutely key in the corporate and tourism sector, or hospitality industry as a whole. Yeah. So, I mean, if you travel to any other city, you don't see as many hotel brands as you do in Nairobi. Yeah, every brand is represented worldwide in Nairobi. So it's interesting to see that. So the chaps that invest in these hotels know this. They have the foresight, and I don't think they would invest if they didn't see the future being bright. And I, since my experience here 5 years now, I've seen it grow and grow, and it's been an incredible market. And I think Kenya's well positioned right at this very moment to see more growth come in.
What challenges do you see in the market, and how do you think ParkInn is prepared to deal with those challenges or mitigate them?
Well, from a ParkInn point of view, would be a little difficult because you're talking about the market as a whole. Look, we're ready to accept any guests from anywhere, but the challenges can be ports of entry, slow entry through customs, costs of getting in to the region, costs of setting up businesses. They could be limitations, but I have seen a lot of easing on those restrictions recently. I see a lot of the requirement for the ETA when you come into the country has been dropped recently, which I think is a great thing. And I think we need to encourage people to come in because I think they're keen to invest. And that would be, I would say, the only limitation that we would have, because otherwise there's a huge market out here that can support industry. There's a very well-trained and educated workforce. They're ready to step into the roles. And I think that's very important for us.
You've answered actually most of the questions in terms of the future. So thank you for that robust answer. The last question I have for you, very, very last question. Looking ahead, obviously there's been a lot of growth within the past 5 years. My question is, what is your broader vision for ParkInn by Radisson in the next 5 years?
Yeah, look, everyone wants to see the hotel still maintaining the same occupancies and revenues. There's going to be a small amount of growth that you expect. You can't expect it just to grow immediately. Exactly. I believe that we'll do that by our staff that we keep training, they keep delivering the right services. We maintain our product, we keep enhancing it, we keep refurbishing when necessary, and we keep the product fresh and live. We come up with new ideas on how to attract business, whether it's going to be having fun up at the attic at night, or just from changing our breakfast options to our guests' needs. So you've got to be in tune to the market, and you need to adapt, as I said, and be fluid. But you also need to have a base of what guests would expect when they come into a hotel. That will put you in good stead. Belonging to the Radisson brand helps a lot. It's a very worldwide recognized good brand. People have an expectation when they come into a Radisson hotel, and we've got to deliver on that. And I think that's what's going to keep us being competitive over the next 5 to 10 years.
So you'll say it's a mix between staying true to yourself and at the same time keeping an ear in the market.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So in regards to keeping an ear to your market, what do you think are the key investment points or the key growth focused areas that you see will influence your investment and overall investment and growth decisions moving?
When you come into a market, and especially a people sort of market where you need people and personnel, it's that the high level of education that we have in Kenya is excellent. So you're going to get the personnel in and you can train them up to do the required services. From an investment point of view, I think do your homework, make sure that when you are building, you build for sustainable futures and that you have that in place. And choose your right location. I think that's important. I think pretty much like Westlands is probably the most important location, I would say. I mean, the access to the airport is important too.
the access to the city center.
Absolutely, city centre. Yeah,
Yeah.
There's a lot on offer in this area.
So thank you for that. Very, very
No, thank you
informative
for
information.
coming around. We appreciate it. Yeah.
Bye.